Where do you think you have an edge or superpower, and how does that show up day to day, either in your investing work or your work with companies?
Yeah, there's two key areas. Okay. So the first one is we know what good products look like. And so and you think that, well, doesn't ever like no, a lot of people just don't. They don't know what makes what is and with the difference between good and very good and exceptional, that matters because when you have a product that is exceptional, that's a product that won't need a lot of marketing spend. That's a product that won't need a lot of customer support spend. That's a product that, so it basically makes everything in that company way, way easier when the product is that good, right? And so we know how to tell when a product is that or not. So that's a huge edge. Second piece is we know how to build those products. So founders who want to work with people like that come to us because they're like, I want to work with other people who know how to build these kinds of products. And there are very few investors, Dan, you're one of a handful still. There's a lot more designer angels out there, right? But I think like people who are just full-time investing and have a design background or that's we can get into that later another time, but that's definitely something I thought would be much more of we'd see a groundswell. If designer fund was successful, we'd see hundreds and thousands of designers becoming VCs.
Hasn't happened.
Has not happened, and I know exactly why, and we can talk about that. But that is why so that's a second edge, is that people want to work with others who can help them build those products. And the third thing is we design venture now. So Enrique and I basically look at all the things that frustrates founders about venture, and we're like, why does it work this way? And most investors are like, this is the way it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so like let's take an example. You as a founder, you have an intro meeting with a VC, right? And then after that meeting, you say, okay, what happens from here on out? And they're like, we'll let you know.
If you get an email back.
Yeah, if you get an email back, right? And then like if I get an email back, like what happens then? Oh, you might have a partner meeting. Okay, then what happens then? We'll let it's like, it's basically like super obtuse. And by the way, a lot of firms, even within the firms, different partners follow different processes. Some will just tell you right there, you get an investment. Some will take weeks of diligence. It just matters who you talk to. Well, what we did is we said, okay, well, let's standardize that process and then tell, like, when you first meet with Designer Fund, we send you like, here is our process. It's like intro meeting, phase 1, phase 2, close. And here's what we need to see to move to the various phases. So you know exactly what we're looking for. There's no hidden, there's no magic. It's like, what we're looking for, and we can tell you if you have it or not. And guess what? Founders love that. They love that it's a known, transparent process.
So surprising.
And it's so simple, right? All we did was, but it's like we only did that because we talked to founders and realized like that was a frustration point. And we're like, well, why is it designed this way? It kind of was never designed. It was designed this way to benefit the investor. And so if you think about, well, how would we design it to benefit founders? You would do something very different, right?
Yeah.
Almost like, it's exactly like you have an order. It used to be like you'd order something and it would show up at some point. Now it's like, hey, order process. It just shipped. It's delivering today. It just arrived at your door. Here's a photo of it, right? That's the same thing. Like, why don't we do that for founders? And it's because like, designers just are absent from the venture ecosystem, and we never have had to do that, right? Investors have never had to do that. So I think that's a huge edge for us because we approach every part of the VC ecosystem that way. Like, what are the things that are not working for us and founders and other players in the ecosystem? And let's just redesign it from the ground up to be better.